So recently I haven't been necessarily rushing for an upload, but to say so the least, I have been trying to get as much as I could out as I could possibly get out. And to be honest with you guys, that isn't the easiest thing to do. And to be completely honest, that hasn't been the hardest thing. But it's been hard to stay consistent after even making my first upload. And thinking about what to upload isn't the easiest thing to do when it comes to uploading on YouTube, even after my first upload. And I feel like that's because there's so much stuff I want to talk about, but it's hard to pick a topic that I want to stick to. But anyway, guys, we're playing MW2 today. As you guys can tell, I'm on IW4X. If you guys want to download that stuff, I'm sure you guys can find some stuff on YouTube. I'm not going to be the guy that's going to teach you how to, install games and stuff. That's not my job here, but I'm more than sure you guys can figure out how to get on MW2 if you want to and learn how to install it and stuff. Obviously, we're playing some FFA, and there's a lot of bots. There's some guys in this lobby as well, and, they're going for some trick shots, which seems really fun. And since I've been playing this game instead of Black Ops 2, I realized how much better it actually feels just to snipe on in general and to commentate over. I had a buddy actually teach me how to install it, and it's been really fun playing it. And I really haven't had this much fun on COD in the longest time since I actually first discovered Plutonium. And it's been a blast, man, playing this game and just feeling it on PC at a higher frame rate. It really is really fun to play on. But I want to talk about a certain topic today on this video, and that topic was going to be actually nostalgia, and how that affects Gen Z, or actually anybody, if you want the truth. And since I was young, I always remember just coming home from school playing COD. I'm sure you guys feel the same way, but it wasn't just COD that gives me that nostalgic feeling. YouTube is a big part of that nostalgic feeling, and it is a big part of who I am today and who I became over the years. It taught me how to almost socialize and be a maybe funnier person when it comes to my personality and my sense of humor. And because of that, it's kind of crazy as a Gen Zer, I guess you'd call me, because not only does it, not only does it affect my personality, but it's also the sheer fact that, the sense of humor that was back then doesn't really fly around nowadays, you know what I'm saying? And that makes it really hard to be, funny and not canceled, I guess? Cancel culture is a really interesting thing in the world nowadays, and it's almost like every other day you see somebody getting canceled. If it's a YouTuber you knew all your life, or it's even maybe a friend from school you've known all your life. And people make mistakes, and I'm not one to judge and hold them up to that, mistake. But that's kind of what it is. That's kind of how people, are nowadays. And not necessarily that means it's a bad thing, but it certainly is a thing, and that's for sure. And playing on these old servers, man, playing on these old games, it really does give me a feeling of that nostalgia that I've been chasing all my life. And, it's almost as if it's not necessarily a drug, but because it isn't healthy for you, it's not something that's gonna genuinely impact you and mess with your brain and stuff. And it's not a bad thing, but I'll tell you what, it does steer you away from learning new things and finding new things that you like. Because, sometimes people get stuck in the past, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, I'd say. But it's not something that's completely healthy. And I'm not saying for you to steer away from the things that you like as a kid and steer away from the things that you love as a kid. But what I mean is it's probably a good idea to, always look for something new and not always, be so stuck in the past. And it's ironic for me saying that, considering that I've been playing these games, and my whole point of, well, I guess uploading these videos is nostalgia. And a good example I have for nostalgia is Gamma, actually, because I've been drinking Gamma since 2012. And I'm pretty sure I've had pretty much every flavor in that era of time. Not necessarily every flavor, but in that time, I'm pretty sure I've had almost every flavor that all the FaZe guys made, and even like Keemstar had, like the cotton candy one, if you guys remember that. Like I said, for Gen Z, nostalgia is something that I believe, hold close in our hearts because of, everything that we went through in our lives and everything that we've seen and the way that we watched the internet change in front of our eyes. And that's something that you go through, and you don't really forget it. You don't forget it. And I'll be honest, man, sniping in this game, it hasn't ever felt better, playing on a nicer frame rate. It's like, holy shit, dude. I take this game so for granted, especially after playing Black Ops 2. I mean, yeah, BO2 feels great, but this game, man, it's something else. There's something about this game that just makes sniping feel perfect. I don't know if it's the intervention or what it is, honestly, but it might be just the game engine. IW4X, man, this shit feels amazing, dude. And I recommend if you guys have a PC, you come check this shit out and populate these servers, man, because they need some people on them. I mean, there's about 100 and some people playing almost every day, and I'm sure you guys can find a lobby wherever you are in the world, and I know you guys would love it. For me, it's a blast, and I enjoy playing even with some friends and some buddies off camera, and even by myself when I'm off camera. It's fun, man. I really do enjoy the shit out of it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not the best MW2 trick shotter. I didn't have that much time trick shotting on the W2. And even then, it's still so fun to play. It just brings back a different feeling, man. And what's really cool about IW4X2 is there's a huge community on Twitter, on Instagram, on Discord that play this game religiously, and they trick shotted on it religiously. You know, back in 2014, I remember when everyone was using EB and taking trick shots, and that was a shitty time in life, you know. That was sad. We were kind of watching trick shotting just die right in front of us, and it was hard to see that shit happen, especially when I was younger, and trick shotting meant so much to me. It sucked to see that, you know, it was kind of dying in front of us. That sucked. I can't express how terrible I felt about that. But regardless, man, MW2 is an amazing game, and I love playing it as much as the next guy. You know, I might not have had the best moments compared to other games that I had on this game, but I'll tell you what, I definitely enjoyed the shit out of MW2 as a kid. And even as I grew older and came back on my Xbox 360 when I still had it, which sadly I don't have anymore. And I used to just play this shit, and I remember how full those free-for-all lobbies were, man. They were full for as long as I could remember, dude. I had a blast playing those games. So when I was young and I used to be in school, I used to actually, for the weekends, go to my grandparents' house, which wasn't so far from mine, but I'd have my Xbox 360 hooked up over there. And when I was really young, they didn't actually have Wi-Fi, so I'd be playing Black Ops 2 versus the bots. And ironically, I remember going on my phone and going on YouTube and searching how to set the bots up to trick shot. And that was as earliest as I can remember trick shotting when I was a kid. And I gotta be honest, man, my grandparents raised me, man. They really did sit there, dude, and raise the shit out of me as a little shit I was. I used to just sit in my room all day and play video games, complain about having to go to school and not do my homework. Almost like every kid you guys probably know, and you guys probably were the same as me, you know? That's not a bad thing. We had a childhood and we had fun with that stuff. It was a place to get our minds off things and a place to feel almost safe from the world and away from everything when shit went wrong, you know? We all went through stuff. We all know what it's like to feel depressed or you know, have anxiety and all these things. I don't want to make this a serious video, but I understand what it feels like to go through stuff like that. I understand what it feels like to go through depression or go through anxiety. My favorite trick shotter back in the day, for me, it's Fakey. Fakey was, oh my gosh, that guy had some kind of style that I couldn't understand how the guy was doing half the shit he was doing when I was a kid. But that stuff, I want to say it almost fucking turned me on. That's how fucking sick it was. I'm sitting here making some gamma, and I'm thinking about, you know, maybe starting a Twitter or an Instagram for you guys to follow and interact with me a little bit more. You know, we could talk about, you know, maybe future uploads, or I can even notify you guys when I'm gonna make an upload to make it easier for you guys to, you know, find my content instead of having to wait for me to pop up on a page, or you guys having to, you know, go on my page and look for the new video down below, and I'll look into making a Twitter account for you guys, so when I post, you guys can, you know, be updated about it, or if something happens and I'm unable to make an upload, you guys can see that I'm, you know, unable to make an upload, so you guys aren't expecting something and being let down. And damn, what a fucking map, dude. I remember playing Face Off on this map in MW3, and holy shit, dude. The nostalgia this is bringing back, playing A-Ground. I don't even know if it was called A-Ground or a ground. I just remember calling it A-Ground. That's what I called it. And I'm really interested to know, what was your guys' old gamer tags back in the day? My name was actually my first name, and then FFA. That was my name when I was a kid. That's the type of shit I used to do. That was the type of shit everyone used to do, actually. I feel like that's kind of just something that everyone did back then. Or even like TS for trick shot. What's really cool about IW4X is you can use some binds to get in some spots you weren't able to get into in the real game, which is fucking sick in my opinion. It's absolutely fucking sick. Like, look how high I am, and you never think you can get on up top there where that guy is on that crane looking thing on fucking A-Ground. It's absolutely sick. Also, I want to know, like, what was your guys' first trick shot you guys ever hit, or maybe your favorite trick shot you ever hit? I'd love to know, you know, what you guys were up to when we were all kids or when we were all younger, however it may have been going down. I love to know that type of stuff. I love talking to you guys and commenting. I love replying to your guys' comments and you know, seeing what you guys have to say. It makes me feel so happy, you know, that you guys are here, you know, just being along for the ride. And it means a lot to me. I didn't ask for nothing like that. I didn't ask to get over 100 views on my first video in the first couple of days. That blows my mind. The support from you guys, honestly, I can't even believe it. It's hard for me to even believe it. I'm honestly starstruck, and I don't know what to say, but thank you. That's all I could think to say. I'm so grateful that on my first video I have almost like a tiny community, and I have some people that really wait for my uploads, and it makes me feel bad because I'm not able to upload every day because, you know, I'm busy with life and stuff. I'm getting a little old. I gotta start looking for something to do in my life, and I figured before it gets too late, I'd start this dream YouTube channel up before I can't anymore. And once again, I just want to thank you guys all support. It means so much to me. I don't know how to even show my gratitude to you guys. It means so much. You know, when I was a kid watching YouTube and just thinking, you know, what if I could join FaZe one day, or if I could join Red Reserve or SOAR? It was all just a dream to me. It was all just something that, you know, I literally dreamed about and talked to my friends about in school. And now as I get older, and, you know, actually, I want to say about a month ago, when I was starting off my plutonium journey, it was crazy to see that I got into a lobby with all those SOAR guys. Sorry, not FaZe. All those SOAR guys, and it just brought me to a time that I'll never forget ever in my life. And that is a core memory that'll stick with me. Just being in that lobby in 2026 after New Year's, playing with some SOAR guys in my lobby, just trick shotting on Black Ops 2. That shit really does show you that some people just hold stuff dear to their hearts the same way I hold YouTube dear to mine and Call of Duty dear to mine. It might not be the best game ever now anymore with all the new ones coming out and them ruining it, you know, however it may be. It still means so much to me to come back to these old games and play them like I always did as a kid. I want to buy an Xbox 360 just so if these servers get shut down one day, I can always come back and play them and play these old games to relive my childhood. And I'll be brutally honest, I'm not the best MW2 trick shotter by any means necessary. I don't remember how to do any of this shit. It's been over 10 years since I've even attempted any of this stuff. There's so much new things that people figure out over the years that's still trick shot, and I have not the slightest fucking clue how to even start and begin to do any of that stuff. I don't remember how to knock on this game. All I remember is this. Just that quick run swap shit that was really fun to do. I remember when I was a kid, I remember doing that shit and impressing my friends in school doing that stuff. Now it's like the most basic thing ever. Yeah, let me know if you guys want to see some more MW2 content, or maybe even MW3, you know. I'll look about getting that installed in my PC and, you know, trying that out. It sounds like it'd be a fun time. I remember a lot more MW3 personally than MW2. Of course, I watch more YouTube on MW2, but I remember playing a lot more MW3 personally. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what you guys want to see next. You know, any kind of help and any kind of video idea. You know, I know you guys are, I know one of you guys actually in the comments is interested in me doing a Black Ops 2 series of me going for Prestige or going for Diamond Camo, which I love doing so much. So I'm gonna think about doing that really soon. Oh jeez, what a fucking map, man. What a fucking map. Holy shit. Holy shit, dude, I remember playing this game in 2011 and 2010, coming home from school and hopping on a free-for-all or a lobby and just, you know, plugging in my little microphone, the speaker kid I was, and talking all this shit I could have talked. And damn, dude, I remember doing so many 1v1s versus some randoms on this map, people I met, some, you know, interesting people that made a lot of fun of me, but I sure do remember playing with them and trick-shotting them for the last kill if it was a 360 no-scope or whatever it may have been. But dude, I remember fucking everything. I remember it all like it was just yesterday. You know, I was actually gonna end the video, but I seen that the next map was gonna be Rust, and I knew I had to get this in the video. I can't not get Rust in the video. I remember as a kid playing free-for-all and getting this map and always trying to get on top of Rust, and it was fucking impossible, dude. The kids with ACRs and UMPs with suppressors, they were not interested in letting you get up here. They didn't like the fact that you can get up here. They hated it. Yeah, this map brings back a lot of nostalgia. Brings back a lot of good feelings. Brings back a lot of good memories that I'll forever have embedded in my brain. And I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to play these games. And what makes me sad is that in my future kids, one day, if I'm like, 45 or 50 years old and hopefully, retired, if my kids will be able to experience, how fun these games really were. And that just bums me out. That bums me out, dude. It bums me out that a whole generation and generations of people kind of experience, the fun that we had playing these games. Oh, it's so fucking close, dude. Holy shit. And I'm not by any means necessarily the best trick shotter you guys were ever gonna fucking see at all. I'm no FaZe Ramos. I'm no FaZe Fakie. I'm no fucking Rain or Apex or DAP when it comes to playing MW2. But I'll tell you what, I'm gonna try, guys. I'm gonna give it my fucking best. And if I hit one, that'll be great. And if I don't, that's fine too. I'm fine with it. I'll live with it. You know what I'm saying? I'll live with not hitting the trick shot on the W2. There's always tomorrow. The reason I didn't upload for those 2 or 3 days was because I was really going for a clip for you guys. And I really honestly wish I didn't. I wish I just ended the video off a little earlier. And I live with not hitting a clip. I wish I was able to do that, but my mind, sometimes it tastes perfection. It tastes perfection, and that's something I wanna work on not doing as much. I want to work on just being raw and being real, and that's something I always felt when I was young, and especially now as I'm getting older, it feels like something that I'm kind of losing, you know what I'm saying? And honestly, that sucks. I wish I had more room for mistakes and more room for realness, and that's my goal with this channel. That's my goal with making videos is, making mistakes in it and finding out what's right and what's wrong, and working on that, and using that to make myself a better person in the real world. So yeah, that's gonna do it for today's video. I really appreciate all you guys' support. I appreciate the likes, the comments, and also I pray and hope that this video today comes out better than the last ones. I figured out something in my recording software and like my editing software, how to like mess around with some stuff and make sure it looks a little bit better. And if it doesn't, I apologize once again. And that's been about it. I appreciate you guys for watching. God bless. Peace.